when the word self-defense gets said to you, what's the first thing you think about?
I think of street fights. I'm thinking street fights, guys defending themselves. And I mean, that's not always the people that need protection. It's not usually someone strong. It's going to be someone weaker,
So exactly, you just proved my point and what I'm going to outline right now. The word self-defense, everybody immediately thinks combat, physical, fight, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's where there's been a gap in what we're actually trying to incorporate. You know what I mean? Because like you said, the thing I say is by the time it's got to the physical, for most people, it's too late.
Yeah.
And so the word self-defense, it's almost, I want to back it up a bit and say it should be self-survival. You know what I mean? And I use the animal kingdom analysis a lot in situations. By the time the lion is running after the buck, the gazelle or the impala, or by the time he's close and whatever, and by the time he grabs it, you know what I mean? Self-defense for that buck is almost done. You know what I mean? Self-defense started a long time before that lion even got on the chase. And that's the mental that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? When in life, there's the predator and there's the prey. And the prey self-defense happens way before it even comes under attack from that predator, from that lion. And it's a mental, it's a checklist of listening to, I'm using, like, let's just say this example with the bucks. Every time it walks out onto the plains, into the grasslands, it's listening for animals, other animals, birds give off a warning sign to it. You know what I mean? It smells, you know what I mean? It's incorporated everything that's happening in its entire environment, and anything that offsets that frequency starts to raise its self-defense. Now, we as humans possess the exact same thing. We're of the animal kingdom, but I think that's what happens is we've become so far advanced in being modern humans that we've neglected the instinct ability that we have for self-defense. You know what I mean? We've been numbed from distraction from our phones and things like this. So the word self-defense in itself starts way before any physical altercation or interaction occurs. And that's kind of the things that I wanted to touch on when you and I did that demonstration. Was there's a lot more self-defense than learning how to get out of a physical situation, because in a lot of times, once it's got to that physical situation, for most people, it's too late. Even experts. I mean, we see it happen with our advanced soldiers, guys in special forces. But if they're ambushed in a certain way, those guys are the top of the apex when it comes to being able to handle situations. But if they misjudge a situation and get ambushed, man, it's too late. So the word self-defense, I think, like I said, it's a little misleading. People, as soon as they hear that word, immediately jump to, physical interaction. What am I going to do? And then it kind of also leads into, like how we know, like, as an instructor, sometimes, coming back to jiu-jitsu analysis, guys, when you teach them, first, you got to break through the ego barrier. Yeah, I hear what my instructor's saying, but I would do this and I would do that. You know what I mean? And then, but when you teach, a lot of times when you teach girls initially, they don't have those roadblocks in their learning process in place first that you got to break down first. A lot of times, with girls and females, you tell them, hey, this is how we do this, this, and this, and they immediately grasp it, and they take the technique pretty quickly.
That kind of leads to my next question. It's like women's self-defense, and it's